Road trip. I'm exploring a village along the river Rhine. It's a weird day with mixed weather. We start in the sun, but let's see what we will find.
Scientists very much live in their own bubble. Yes, we are scholars and we know a lot of things around our own expertise. Nevertheless, if we are really honest, there is a really good term for it in German. Fachidiotie. So we are really specialists in our own little niche. We live in a bubble. And sometimes it's very helpful and very necessary to go outside, to look beyond the bubble borders and to see what else is there. I am rarely going on hikes or explorations around where I live because I very much like being indoors, read, write, think about science, work in the lab. This was a very special excursion because I didn't only have the plan to look around, to explore the river Rhine and a beautiful village, picturesque village, representative of all the Rhine villages that are there. I also had in mind to film this video.
Everything around is foggy. We can only see, a few hundred meters, and all the houses in the distance, and the river Rhine on the other side is covered with dense fog. This is pretty much how your life is as a scientist, because you will only know by reading the literature and working in your field a little snippet, and everything else, it's still out there, but it's foggy. So what I like to do, what I always love to do, sometimes I skim and read papers that are not directly related to my field, so I'm curious to figure out what's behind the fog. And that gives some inspiration and protects also from being biased, and sometimes you can connect the dots to other topics that are not necessarily your research topic. Oh, and sometimes the fog clears up. There in the distance we have blue sky now. Look at that.
Unconscious bias is really dangerous. And I think everyone has already seen this with colleagues, supervisors, students. Scientists of all levels can suffer from unconscious bias. This term describes the fact that our brain basically tricks us. We like to think about everything that is present, that is currently in our neurons firing, pictures, information, facts, concepts. And this immediate present knowledge affects the conclusions that we draw. So in other words, in the context of science, this means that it is no surprise that if a lab works on topic X, almost everything that is done will be relating back to X somehow. It's circling back to having a meaning in the context of this topic X. Relatively rarely, scientists then deviate into new areas and fields of expertise. That is because of unconscious bias. And this is nothing bad or something to be criticized, it's just a fact, and it's good to be aware of it. So what can we do as scientists to counteract this unconscious bias, to break the spiraling of our brains? Well, it's easy. We look beyond the horizon. We try to see something else occasionally. And this not by accident, but actively, like stepping out of the comfort zone of the own home, going out on a hike, sitting in a cafe. That was a great latte, by the way, and a great pancake breakfast we had. Yeah, and you look outside of your comfort area. That can mean you read a paper about a topic of the upcoming conference. You read a paper about something that is interesting for private life, about something medical, about something that you always were curious about, or you just go to the latest edition of your favorite journal and you skim through the titles of all of the submitted papers and pick one and read it. Maybe you work on cell biology topics, including intercellular trafficking, and you don't know much about lipid biology. Read about lipid biology. You're an RNA expert? Well, you might want to read about post-translational modification of polymerases. It doesn't matter. It's important that you keep your brain fresh occasionally with some unexpected brain food. And that prevents unconscious bias. And this leads immediately into the next topic, because that is what science is for me. It is not knowing everything or being a know-it-all, and I'm definitely also personally not interested in all the topics out there, but being a little bit of a scholar, that is really appealing. A scholar is a person who has expertise in a specific academic discipline. More precisely, it's a highly learned researcher who advances scientific knowledge, and they advance it through original peer-reviewed studies and the specialized expertise that we gain. I wouldn't call myself necessarily a scholar. I don't know, nowadays it's not a word that is used very often. You think about these very elaborate, established people that reached already a certain age and had a big contribution to some field. Nevertheless, we should think also as young researchers and educators about being scholarly. What does it mean? It means that, yes, we are in our bubble, we read our literature, we teach the stuff that we know to the students and the next generation, and occasionally, to avoid unconscious bias, we should also look outside the bubble borders. But now, being a scholar is not something that can be achieved in a room alone reading the literature. It involves also interaction with other researchers. So now we go from reading the science into discussing the science. And that is also a skill that we have to practice basically from the get-go, how we discuss our science and communicate it.
That was fun. Exploration without expectation is always the best. Keep up the spirit. I hope you have a nice day and a good week, and see you next time. Bye!